I just want to take a moment to say something about Kevin. He is a cornerstone of this community. He's been here since the very, very beginning. And he has the heart of service. He's been in such service to this community since day one and has done whatever has been asked of him. And we will be losing Kevin soon. But another spiritual community will be saying, y'all come. So Kevin will be going to Colorado to join Reverend Allen, and will, I'm sure, be very, very involved at New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living in Colorado, in Aurora, Colorado. They have a wonderful minister, a friend of mine, and so we bless you on your journey, and we thank you for all that you've done to serve us. And it really is perfect because we start a new month and we start a new theme. Centers for Spiritual Living is doing a theme about values-based spiritual living, and this month the focus is values-based spiritual living through community service. And what Centers for Spiritual Living encourage us to do is this. It says, we dedicate our time, talent, and treasure and expertise to the healthy and joyful evolution of our spiritual community, the community in which we live, and the greater community of the world. And that is so true, because we are one, we are all interconnected. And today, we are going to focus on giving of our time, talent, and treasure. Because our theme here at Suncoast, to dovetail into that theme for all of Centers for Spiritual Living, this month we're going to focus on heart-centered, action-oriented service. It's one thing to think about it, to dream about it, to pray about it, but it's also something to allow all of that thinking and praying and dreaming to move us into action so that something actually happens, that our behavior changes, and we become the outpicturing of what's going on with us internally in terms of spiritual living. And in this case, it's all about service. To create a world that works for everyone, which is really our vision as a spiritual community. Do that through giving of our time, talent, and treasure. And we create a world that works for all. And in order to do that, we must model the possibilities that come with giving of who we truly are in our time, our talent, and our treasure. And I want to talk about that. We do that at the level of our personal lives, so that what we do behind closed doors where nobody can see it is the same as what we do in our spiritual community and what we do in the community in which we live. And also in our global outreach and our global expression, because we are all interconnected. And it is, I gotta tell you, I tried being more than one person at a time. It does not work, and it makes you crazy. It's really hard to juggle and keep track of. It's much better if we're just all the same person everywhere we go, and that we're living from our authentic beingness at the center of our being and living that outward, expressing it individually, personally, communally, and globally. It's much easier to keep track of just who you are. It's just like when people say, well, if you tell the truth, you tell the same story over and over and over again. If you're making stuff up because you went to MSU, if you're making stuff up, you better try and stay with me now. If you're making stuff up, it's hard to remember, oh God, what did I tell this guy last month? Right? You're going to try and figure out, which story did I spin? It's better to just be who you authentically are, to tell the truth as best you know it at any given moment in time, and to live from that beingness, to live from that truthfulness. So personally, communally, globally, giving of our time, talent, and treasure. The question is, are you willing to share the gifts that you've been given by Spirit itself? Are you willing to share those gifts and step into the world and give of your time, your talent, and your treasure? Are you willing to do that? Is anybody in this room willing to do that?
Yes.
Well, there are a few. That's good. They say if you get 2% return on anything, that's pretty good. I kind of like to think we can do better. So think about it, contemplate it. Ask yourself, that's your contemplation for the week. Am I willing to share the gifts I've been given and step out into the world and give of my time, my talent, and my treasure? Am I willing to do that? And I'm going to quote somebody who is very, very near and dear to me. In fact, they look almost exactly like me. It's my evil twin. Giving of our time in communion with God in our spiritual practice connects us to the divine energy and flow of spirit. And we are given unlimited support. Giving of our talent in sacred service builds community and moves love into action. Giving of our treasure enriches the recipient and the giver and keeps our giving, receiving energy flowing. This is very true. Time, talent, treasure, it's like a three-legged stool. If you chop off any one of those legs, it doesn't work. So you want to keep somewhat of a balance between your time, talent, and treasure. Giving, so it's really giving of your full self. What I like to say to people is, I don't just want your wallet, I want your everything. I want your whole being. I want your time, I want your talent, I want your treasure. I want the wholeness of who you are. I want your full expression to be seen and known and given away. Try to give yourself away as much as possible. Seriously, it's a good thing, because you know what happens? When you give it away, it comes back to you magnified. It's like this gigantic mirror is held up in front of you, and it sends it all reverberating back to you. So you give up your time, give up your time. And so often we think, when I say give up your time, I mean, oh, come here early and do stuff. That's not what I mean. Giving up your time, I want you to give your time to Father, Mother, God, Spirit itself, the source of all of your beingness and all of your good. Spend time with Spirit. Spend time with the Creator in spiritual practice. And specifically, to be in connection with Spirit, spend time in meditation, quiet, listening, envisioning, catching Spirit's vision for your life, listening to what you're being called to. And third, prayer, to be in communion, in conversation with Spirit, and to take the energy of what you've listened to and what's been downloaded to you from Spirit itself and moving it into action through prayer. That's what I'm talking about when I say time. Give up your time. Keep a consistent connection with Spirit itself. You want to be like this, like your Siamese twins, because guess what? You are. You know, your best pal. The thing you want to be closest to all the time is Spirit itself. Keep that connection tight and constant and consistent. Allow Spirit to guide you, to have its way with you, to have its way in, through, and as who you are, to be the full expression of who you are. Allow Spirit to breathe through you, to live through you. And then I ask you to give of your talents. Give of your talents. These are the other gifts that you've been given by Spirit itself. Not only does Spirit spend time with you when you allow it, but Spirit has given you talents that are uniquely yours. And so you give those talents to others, to family, to friends, to community, to the world. Give those away. They were not given to you in order to keep them to yourself. They were given to you in order to share. They were given to you in order to express. They were given to you in order to give them away. And in the giving away, you're replenished tenfold. I believe this. The more you exercise those talents, the more proficient you become with them, the more magnificent your expression as your unique being. From the ancient Greek, the word human means to be the dispenser of God's gifts. I love that. We are the dispensers of God's gifts. They don't get dispensed if we don't do it, my friends. We are the living expression of Spirit's gifts. Give them away. You are the dispenser of God's gift. Think of yourself as a little, well, they don't have those cha-ching machines anymore in Las Vegas. It's a button now, right? I hate that. Cha-ching! You know? Give it away. Give it away. Be the dispenser. And just see all those coins of who you are dumping out into the bucket of someone else's need. Be that. Give those talents away. Giving of our talents makes a difference in the world. And guess what? It makes a difference in us. It fulfills us. It fulfills us to overflowing so that we can give even more of our talents. And we can hone and polish some of the talents that aren't already honed and polished. What happens when we do that, when we make that connection by giving away who we've come here to be through the giving of our talents, is it creates a heart connection. It reminds us of the interconnectedness and the oneness of all being, that we are interconnected with all of life. It reminds us of that, and we can't help but move love into action when we realize that, when we realize the connections that we have with one another, the connections that we have with people we haven't even met yet. We're one with those people, and they are one with us. And if we started to act like we were one organism, if you will, but so gigantic and amazing and powerful that we're everywhere. We're everywhere all at once, but we're interconnected and we are one. And when we realize that, we can't help but love. we cannot help but give love, give our talents away in a loving way. Service, giving of ourselves, giving of our talents, giving in sacred, loving service is a path to awakening and transformation. You know, so often I've heard people say, well, when I really get my act together, then I'll have something to give. Then I'll be in service, because when I get my stuff together, I'll if you ever get all your stuff together, you probably won't be able to lift it. So, don't wait for that. Do not wait for that. It's not a matter of when I get all my stuff together, I'll have something to give. It is in the giving, it is in the being in loving service that we are awakened, uplifted, and transformed, and you already have something to give. You have you. You have you. You are a sacred being. You have you. So it is in the giving, it is in the serving that we come alive, that we awaken, and we are transformed into who we truly are, and we stop being who we're not. And that, my friends, is a very cool place to be. Ram Dass said that service not only reveals a larger vision of life, but steadily moves us along and supports us in our efforts to realize this vision. Each time we respond to appeals for help, we're being shown where we must grow in our sense of unity and what inner resources we can call upon to do so. The path of service helps us along the journey of awakening. That is true. As we serve, we awaken. As we give, we are transformed. Then I ask that you give of your treasure. Give of your treasure, where you're spiritually fed and inspired. That could be here. It could be in one of the many organizations that we partner with and that we give to. Those people that are inspiring and empowering others much in the same vein as we are, creating a world that works for everyone. So give of your treasure. Give of your treasure, and I guarantee it will multiply. It will come back to you. You do it as an act of faith. You give before you have received. And sometimes you receive before you give. It doesn't really matter. It's cyclical. It's a cycle. It's a circle with no beginning and no end. It doesn't matter where you jump on that circle of giving and receiving. It is a spiritual practice of faith, of giving a portion of our financial inflow, knowing that we will not be depleted, but that we will be replenished even more than what we give. If that's a little scary to you, because I know some of you folks are retired, you're on a fixed income, you have a job, you get paid a certain amount of money, whatever, you got a certain number of bills, those always seem to go up. Sometimes it appears that they're going up faster than the money flowing in. I just noticed yesterday I went to Costco to get gas. Last week I went to Costco and got gas, $2.09. I'm going, and I go yesterday, zip in there, $2.35. I'm like, whoa, okay. And I fill up, I pull out, and I look back, and the guy is just changing the sign from $2.35 to $2.48. I'm going, whoa, right? In the nick of time. But it's like, things like that, going up and up and up. But I didn't get any more money this week. But you know what? A couple of weeks ago, I got a bunch. So what I'm going to ask you to do, if it's scary to commit to giving of the current inflow that you have, certainly if it's scary to give 10% of that, or even 5% of that, I've got a solution for you. I've got a little game that you can play with yourself. Okay, that came out wrong. I've got a game that you can play with all of us, so that you won't be alone in this. And okay, I should just stop. I'm just digging myself in deeper. Okay, I love when I do that. It's like, yeah, all right. Okay, so here's the game. If it's scary to commit to giving a certain percentage from your current inflow, here's what I'm going to invite you to do. Give a percentage of your expected income from unexpected sources. That's what I like to call it, is expected income from unexpected sources. That means money you weren't expecting to receive, or somebody bought something from you that you weren't expecting to happen. However, I'm going to ask you to turn that around a little bit. Expect it. Expect that you're going to receive money from sources other than your paycheck or your retirement check or your Social Security or whatever it is. That you're going to receive unexpected income from unexpected sources, but I want us to start expecting it. Now I'll give you an example. A couple weeks ago, I got paid forward, so it doesn't matter that I paid a little extra for gas yesterday, or that I'm gonna pay a little extra next time I go. It doesn't matter because I already got some inflow that came from an unexpected source. A friend of mine invited me to go on vacation, and she paid for everything. Wow, you know, so I added up approximately what that would cost. And so I tithed 10% of that extra. So let's say it was, you know, well, actually I should never do math in my head because now I realize I really gave a lot. I gave about 100% or something, but no. So I figured that vacation cost maybe, you know, $1,000 or something. So I wrote a check for, actually 200. This is why I should never do math in my head. Oh well, yeah. You're welcome, Suncoast. So, but you know, if I had paid for that, and it cost that much money, but I didn't pay for it, so that's like somebody writing me a check for $1,000. So then I tithed on that. So play that game. Somebody takes you to lunch, and it costs $12. Put an extra $1.20 in the basket when it comes around. You know, somebody you know, buys you a gift for $10, put an extra $1 in the thing. Trust me, all that does is prime the pump and get the flow going even more. And pretty soon you're going to be finding money. You're going to be walking to your car. I'll tell you, one time I'm driving out of this condo complex, and as I'm making the turn in the intersection, I look and I see this pile of green stuff in the middle of the intersection. And I'm like, what is that? And as I got close up, I thought, oh my God, that's money. And you would have loved it. I mean, they should have gotten this on camera. So I'm making the turn, and I'm in the intersection. It's really early in the morning, so there's nobody else around. So I'm making the turn, and so I open my car door, and I lean out the car door and scoop up this pile, and it's like a couple $100. Just fell out of the sky, or somebody's car, I guess. But there's nobody around, you know. I mean, there's nobody to give it to, right? So that was, thank you, you know, man up to heaven. So, I mean, this is literally what happens when you start to open up those floodgates. I mean, who expects to drive over a wad of money? I mean, seriously, right? But there it was. So, expect it. Expect it. Turn that around and expect it, and tithe on that unexpected sources income, and it primes the pump even further. So keep it going, keep it going. When we do that, it affirms our values and our beliefs that spirit is the source of limitless abundance of every nature. It affirms that belief. It tells the universe, yes, I know that I will be provided for. I know that it's coming to me. It primes that consistent flow and circulation of receiving, giving, receiving, giving, receiving, giving, receiving, giving. It's like Sambo chasing the tiger. Pretty soon you don't know the difference between, right? It's all one flow. Receiving, giving, receiving, giving, receiving, giving. I want to read a little story to you that kind of illustrates this. The real power of giving of our treasure. Sister Barbara was sitting in her room at the convent and opened up a letter from home. Inside the letter was a $100 bill from her parents. Glancing out the window, she smiled at the gift, and then she noticed a shabbily dressed man leaning against the lamppost below. She took out a piece of paper and she wrote on the paper, "Don't despair," all in capital letters, "Don't despair." And then Sister Barbara wrapped the note around the $100 bill, got the man's attention, and tossed it out the window toward him. The man picked up the paper, he opened it, and with a puzzled look, he tipped his hat and went on his way. The next day, Sister Barbara was told there was a man downstairs who insisted on seeing her. This same man from yesterday, handed her a wad of $100 bills. Surprised, Sister Barbara asked, "What is this?" And the guy said, "That's the $8,000 you have coming to you." And she looked puzzled, and he said, "Don't despair, paid 80 to 1. So you never know exactly where your good might be coming from. So don't block any of those avenues of inflow, my friends. You see what I'm saying? You could drive over a wad of bills. You could, don't despair, could pay 80 to 1. You could win the lottery. I mean, my God, you see that woman up in wherever it was, New Hampshire, wherever? I mean, she just won like $1 gazillion.
No.
Bought one crazy lottery ticket. Hello, how do you know? I mean, expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected good. So what I'm inviting you to do is to give and to serve openly and freely and joyfully with a fully present energy. With a fully present, awake, aware energy. Be in the joy of giving and serving. Give in alignment with your values and your beliefs. Don't go against your core values and beliefs because that just sets up a traffic jam. So forget that. The question is, are you willing to walk your talk, your values and beliefs? Are you willing to live those values and beliefs? Are you willing to model those values and beliefs for the whole world to see? Are you ready to be the poster child for the values and beliefs you say that you have? And to put those into action, and give and serve from the alignment with those values and beliefs. Give to your spiritual community. Give to your local community. Give to your global community. And that's what we do here at Suncoast. When you give, the more you give here, the more we're able to give out into the local community or even the global community. Because we give to other organizations. We partner in spirit and in consciousness with other organizations that are also creating a world that works for everyone. So we invite you to be a part of that. You know, the truth is that as we give and we serve, whether it's time, talent, or treasure, or all three, our lives work better when we give and serve. Our lives work better when we give and serve because it creates sort of this boomerang effect out of the oneness, the unity, the wholeness, the interconnectedness of life. That boomerang, and it boomerangs right back to us. Have you ever played with one of those boomerangs? It's like a miracle. Mm-hmm. You throw the thing and whoop, pretty soon, you better be paying attention because it'll come right back to you. Right? So know that your life works better as you give and as you serve, and it boomerangs back. Giving and serving from the heart then becomes the greatest joy of our lives. It lifts us energetically in ways that nothing else can. Albert Schweitzer wrote, "I do not know what path in life you will take, but I do know this. If on that path you do not find a way to serve, you will never be truly happy. Service is the highest religion." I don't care what spiritual faith tradition you follow, service is in all of them. Service is the highest religion. Giving of ourselves to one another in the oneness, the unity, the wholeness, the interconnectedness of all life. That is the highest religion. Consider creating a lifestyle of giving and serving. Creating a lifestyle that is about giving and serving from your time, your talent, and your treasure. Increased giving of our good equals increased receiving of blessings and good. It puts us in that dynamic flow, that consistent flow of goodness coming to us, through us, and back out again, and consistently coming. Ernest Holmes, our founder, taught we should give of ourselves in love and in service to others, in a spirit of generosity and good fellowship. To refuse to give is to refuse to receive. Listen to that one. To refuse to give is to refuse to receive because we put a roadblock. We open the channels, we open the flow when we're willing to give and we're willing to receive. You need both. One or the other doesn't work. They go together. They are like Siamese twins. They go together. And then he goes on to say, to refuse to give is to refuse to receive, for everything moves in circles. Real giving is the givingness of the self. Any giving that you do, any service that you do, is the givingness of your authentic beingness, which is a gift to you from Spirit itself. And God's expectation, I believe, is that we give it away so that we can be replenished with more of who we are. So I ask you to practice ongoing, consistent service and giving. Don't make it like a weekend warrior thing, although we do meet on weekends, so I guess you could, but what I'm saying is, don't be one of those people, I'm going to get on my diet, my exercise program, and I'm going to spend the whole weekend exercising, and then by Monday we're almost dead, right? Because we're not used to a regular pattern of that. And so what you want to do is get into a consistent flow of giving of your service to the world. That consistent flow. Be consistent with it. Look for opportunities to be generous with your time, talent, and treasure. Look for opportunities. Create a lifestyle of generosity. Live in a lifestyle of generosity, both in receiving generosity and in giving generosity to others. Live in that circulation and flow of generosity of spirit of every nature. Live in the circulation of being blessed and becoming the blessing. Blessed, blessing, blessed, blessing. That's another one of those. Doesn't matter where you jump in on the circle. Blessed, blessing. It's all in one. So I invite you to be part of that divine circulation of being blessed and being a blessing to the world. Marianne Williamson wrote, no matter what we do, it can become our ministry. I love this because I've said ever since I became a minister, I said we're all ministers. Every single one of us has a ministry. I don't care what you do. If you do it from a place of love and blessedness, you are a minister. You have a ministry. We all have a ministry. Mine just looks like that with a title. But we all, I mean, whether you sell insurance or whatever it is, it's the way in which you approach who it is that you are and what it is that you do. It is your ministry. Your life is your ministry. So she goes on to say, no matter what we do, it can become our ministry. We are here to minister to human hearts. Any task can be a ministry as long as it is dedicated to love. Our ministry becomes a joyous experience for ourselves and others as we let a mysterious force direct us. We simply allow Spirit to move through us, using our gifts and resources. Let Spirit have its way with you. It will not only enrich others, it will enrich you as well. So I'm going to ask you to do a quick little activity just to kind of get you in the flow of this. And so if you're not sitting next to a person, please move somewhere where you are sitting next to a person. Okay, or two, one or two. Barley, I'll play with you. So what I'm going to ask you to do in this first little go-around is recall a time that you performed a fulfilling act of service, sometime that you were in sacred, loving service, and I want you to consider what were the benefits of you doing that. Might have been the benefits to the other person, or it might be even the benefits to yourself. And what were the feelings that you got from having done it? So think of a time that you were in service, that you gave of yourself in service. What were the benefits of you doing it, and what was the feeling you had? So just take a minute to share with your partner. Okay, so I encourage you to continue sharing your hospitality times. Continue to share stories where you have been the recipient or the giver of loving service to another person or another community. I'm going to ask you to do one last thing, and this is your homework. This is your, I'm the queen of homework.
When do we turn it in?
You can be turning it in for the rest of your life. You have the rest of your life to turn it in. It's a good question. So here is your task, T-A-S-K-E. Your task is to take some time to contemplate and to write down the talents that you have, the aspirations that you have, so things that you would like to even be better at or be able to express. So talents, aspirations, the skills that you might have or that you want to polish even more, the knowledge that you have and the experience that you have, and then find a place to serve with those talents, aspirations, skills, knowledge, and experience, because the world needs you, because the world can only receive what you have to offer from you. You're the only one that can give uniquely who you are. And so I invite you to do that. And here's what Ernest Holmes, our founder, has to say about giving of our time, our talent, and our treasure through service. Infinite wisdom in me provides the opportunity for me to serve. Divine love in me prepares me to serve with a sense of satisfaction, both heartwarming and fulfilling. I give thanks for my ability to serve in any way I am directed. I give thanks for the fuller expression of life and I find in serving. I give thanks that divine love provides abundantly for me. I pray that the service I render may be a joy-filled experience that touches the lives of others. And what I want to say to you is that Hurricane Harvey as devastating as it is, if there's a silver lining in it, it is the way that it is bringing people together to help one another, to serve one another. And it gives us an immediate opportunity for generosity, to serve with generosity with our time, our talent, and our treasure. So I ask you, if it's physically possible, there's some way for you to actually go there and help, and you're called to do that, do that. If you have the talent to do that. You certainly have the time to spend in consciousness and in prayer and in affirmation, to be at one with those people and to lift them up with that consciousness and prayer of the divine within you and within them, that interconnection. So take the time to be in prayer for the highest and best for all of those affected by Harvey. And if you have some extra treasure to send, I invite you to, you want to check out, and don't get scammed. You've got to be careful, unfortunately, in these kinds of situations. But I asked Lori to put up on our website, I don't know if you've done that yet, but she's going to, like, the minute we leave here. Our spiritual leader, Dr. Ken Gordon, wrote a letter to all of our centers, and it has in there that information in ways that you can help with folks who are affected by Hurricane Harvey. So take a look at our website and see ways that you can directly help some of the people. Some of our own are certainly affected by Hurricane Harvey. So it affords us an opportunity to dig deep and to put that task into action right away. So blessings on your journey of giving of your time, your talent, your treasure. And I ask you to give and serve till it feels good. Just keep giving and serving till it feels good, and then give and serve some more until it feels even better. And give without an expectation of return, but do give with an expectancy of blessing. Do give with an expectancy of blessing, because the blessing will come to you as much as it comes from you. And one other thing, begin it today. And so it is.